Hello, everybody, and welcome to Popping Popcorn. I'm your host, Katie, and today I will be talking about my favorite childhood movies. And I would also like to thank my Patreons, Amy and Dana from the Run, Eat, and Drink podcast, and Josh. If you would like to help the show out, you can go to patreon.com/popping the popcorn. So, as a kid, I used to watch a lot of movies with like my family, or if I went to sleepovers, I would watch a lot of movies as well. And that's kind of how my love for movies started, was just because you get to be in this like different world than like your your personal life, I guess you can say. And so movies just made made me um childhood movies just made me want to watch more and more movies because I like how they do the costumes, or how they just like directed it, or the cinematography in those movies. So my childhood movies, my number one favorite childhood movie is Beauty and the Beast, and y'all know I'm a huge Disney fan, so Beauty and the Beast is my number one childhood favorite movie, just because my personality is a lot like Belle. I read a lot, and I kind of have her personality, like um, how she doesn't like really like Gaston, and how she just tells him, "No, I'm not gonna date you or go out with you or marry you," just because she doesn't really like him, and he's too into himself. So my personality is a lot like Belle, and I also like the quote in that movie, "Beauty is found within," because the Beast, he wasn't so nice at first, and he kind of became nicer to Belle once he had her in the castle, and he finally let her go see her father because her father was being sick, getting sick, and stuff like that. And my favorite song from that movie is "A Tale as Old as Time," just because it's a great song, and I just like that scene as well when they're dancing in the ballroom and she has that pretty yellow dress on. I just really like that. My favorite character from Beauty and the Beast would have to be Chip, because I just like how he is, just because he's like a little boy and he asks like all these different questions like a kid would, and he just cracks me up. And so that's why um I like Chip. And Beauty and the Beast is just one of those movies that you can sit down and watch over and over again. And to me, it's just nostalgic. I guess that's how you say that. I'm not very good at pronouncing it, but um, so that's why I like that movie, is just because it just brings like you into the characters, and you can be like, hey, I'm in this movie. It makes you feel like you're in the movie, especially the ballroom scene. And who doesn't like a good like romantic comedy? Well, it's not really a comedy, but I mean, like, it's not really a romantic comedy, but there is some comedy in it, I guess you can say. Another one of my favorite movies as a kid was Land Before Time. I used to watch that movie all the time as a kid, and Ducky was my favorite character. And I just like how that movie, like, dinosaurs are running around and they're just going on this like big adventure into the world. And this movie's from the 80s, I want to say. And it's just 1988, so I was right, the 80s. And it's just one of those movies that it's friends coming together, and they're protecting themselves from like the asteroid. I think asteroid's trying to get them, so they have to migrate. I forget. I haven't seen Land Before Time. in a while as an adult, but it was one of my favorite shows. Ducky's my favorite character in that, and I just like how they survive a solar eclipse and encounter aliens. So that's why they're like trying to migrate in that movie, and I just like how the cinematography is in this movie, even though that's an animated movie. I just like how back then they animated the movie and everything, and just made the characters go together. Also, I really like Littlefoot in that movie and Spike. I mean, like I really like all the characters that are their friends, and it's just a good movie. A kid can watch it, um, and it's a good like family movie, I think. And they also have other films to Land Before Time, but I don't really like the other ones. Like I said, I'm not a sequel type of person. I'm more of the original type of person. But it's an all good around movie to watch if it's on Hulu, so you can watch that, and Beauty and the Beast is on Disney Plus, so you can watch it there. My next favorite movie is The Labyrinth, and I just like that movie. And David Bowie does a great job in that movie, and I just like his costume, and I just like how the costumes are in that movie just to begin with. And this was in 1986, and you can also watch this on Netflix. And it was produced, it was directed by Jim Henson, and I like a lot of his stuff, like Dark Crystal and Muppets. He did that. And so this film, I love the cinematography and the costumes, and George Lucas also produced The Labyrinth, which is really cool. A lot of people like George Lucas. And so I just think um, Labyrinth is just a cool movie altogether. And um, and the goblins, when the Goblin King came as a kid, that really freaked me out. And this movie is, I think it's rated PG or PG-13. It could be. I think it's okay. Yeah, I was right. It's PG, not PG-13. But but the Goblin King really freaked me out when I watched this movie, and it's also kind of a dark movie. So if there's like little kids, I don't think they should watch it, but it's a good family movie. Yeah, and the Labyrinth is played by David Bowie, I think. I haven't seen this movie in a while either, but I really like that movie. Oh, David Bowie does play the Goblin King. That's right. Um, and I didn't know that Jennifer Connelly was in this movie. But yeah, I like her as an actress as well. And this is just a good movie altogether. Um, and this is kind of like my childhood right here. I used to watch this movie over and over again sometimes, and um, and it's just one of those movies that has all kinds of different characters, and some of the characters are fun and stuff like that. And it's just a all around good movie. This is like in my top 10 movies. If I had to pick like a top 10, this would be in like my top 10 favorite movies of all time. My next favorite movie is The Goonies. I used to watch this one all the time with my mom, and it brings back a lot of memories with her. Steven Spielberg produced this movie. Um, and this was also in the 80s. I guess I really like 80s movies. Um, and this movie is just a great adventure to go on to. And this movie you can find on HBO Max, and it's rated PG as well. Um, and it's just a fun adventure to go on. It's about these kids, and they are trying to find this treasure from One-Eyed Willie, and um, and um, they go on this like adventure trying to find the treasure, and they have to work together, and the legendary pirate One-Eyed Willie, and the kids overpower power and abandon Brandon the map, and it's just a all around good movie. This is one of my top movies to watch. I haven't seen it in a while as an adult, but it does bring back a lot of memories to watch with my mom with the popcorn and the soda, and we would just sit down on the couch and just have a great time watching that movie. Um, Another movie I used to watch as a kid was Forrest Gump, and that came out in 1990. 1990. I think it came out in 1995. Um, and Forrest Gump 94. I was a year off. And this movie rated PG-13, and uh you can find it on YouTube for $2.99. And Forrest Gump is one of those movies. I just love this movie. I don't know why my mom let me watch this movie when I was a kid, but she did. Um, and this movie takes place in 1981, when Forrest Gump is sitting at a bus station telling his story, and I um and telling his love story and just his story in general from Greenbow, Alabama. And this is just like one of those movies that make you feel good. And I always liked Bubba Gump because he always say, we have a shrimping boat business and we can make all kinds of shrimp. And he would say like gumbo shrimp and all kinds of different like shrimps. And he wanted to be a shrimping boat captain. And I just think that's a really good scene. Um, where they're on the bus and he's like talking to him before they went to the army. And I also love the love story between Forrest and Jenny, how they always like, even though that they're not together all the time, they always come back and like they always see each other, even if they aren't together, they somehow find each other, I guess. And I like how he says Jenny and me were like peas and carrots when they were growing up, and they've known each other since they were kids. And this is just like one of those movies, like it's okay. Forrest Gump was different, and it's okay to be different. Don't let anybody ever tell you it's not okay to be different, because it is okay to be different. And I just like how they made this movie, and how Sally Fields is his Forrest Gump's mom, and how she's a great actress. And I really like the guy that plays Lieutenant Dan because I really liked him in Apollo 13. Um, and I like Tom Hanks movies as well. My favorite Tom Hanks movie would have to be Big, but I also like this one as well. Another one of my favorite movies as a kid was Space Jam with Michael Jordan. I thought that was cool how they did did the movie. Like you can find this on HBO Max as well, and I think this is rated PG. And I like how they made the Looney Tunes um and Michael Jordan kind of like a kind of like a what is it, like the characters are there on the screen, but it's like real life, and then kind of make it animated, and it's really cool to see that all the Looney Tunes battle it out on the basketball court along with Michael Jordan. And you get to see some famous basketball players as well in that movie, like Muggsy Bogues in that movie, and Charles Barkley. And I just find that really interesting that they got some of the actual basketball players, sorry, not baseball, basketball players at the time into that movie as well. And this is also about the time when Michael Jordan wanted to play baseball. That's probably why I said baseball. And so they show that in the beginning of the movie, and then he ends up going back to playing basketball. I did not like the new version with LeBron James as much. I mean, like I liked the movie, but I just liked the original better. And this was one of my favorite movies as a child. Um, Another one of my favorite childhood movies is Hook with Robin Williams, where he plays Peter Pan, and that's such a great movie. I also like Dustin Hoffman as Hook, and I always said I want to live in Neverland as a kid, just because you don't have to listen to your parents there. You could eat whatever you wanted. So I actually just really liked this film as well, and I liked Maggie Smith. She plays in it as well, and there's like a lot of famous people in Hook. Um, and I also like Julia Roberts as Tinkerbell. That's my favorite Disney character, and I just like oh yeah, my favorite character in this movie is Rufio. I just like how he is, and he's like the leader of the Lost Boys, which is really cool. And the cinematography and everything in this movie is really, really interesting. This movie is rated PG. Um, I think you can. I'm gonna. This movie came out in 1991. It's rated PG, and you can find it on Sling. That's a free streaming app. You can watch it on there. And also, this movie I used to watch all the time as a kid, and I used to watch it religiously as a teenager, and which is The Mighty Ducks. All three of them, I used to watch them back to back as a kid, and I just like that movie because it's about teamwork and friendship, and um, it's about growing up and dealing with like your feelings and how sometimes they don't go so well and stuff like that. And I just find it and also that's how I learned what hockey was and how each of the what you call it how each of the positions are played and stuff like that. My favorite one out of them is the second one, just because I like how they introduce different characters in that one, and I like when they leave Goldberg and the goalie. That was funny, and they're just shooting pucks with him, and he's like, "Coach," and I just like how they got to go like to the U.S. like the Olympics, and they got to uh, win a gold medal, and they got to beat Iceland, which is really good. So I really liked that movie as a kid, and I used to watch. I know them line for line. I know all three movies line for line, but I'm not gonna quote them now. But just in case somebody hasn't seen the movie, but I highly recommend all the Mighty Ducks movies. My other one is Matilda. I used to love this movie because I thought it was cool how she had magical powers and her parents were mean to her, and I did not like the Trunchbull in this movie, but I liked some of her friends, and I thought it was kind of cool how she just read books, and she's kind of like me who reads books a lot, and I liked the cake scene. That part was so funny. Um, but yeah, this is a really good movie. This came out in the 90s as well. Um, and it's just a good family movie. and Matilda has powers. She has powers, and she finally gets away from her parents, which is good, and she lives with her teacher. Her teacher, she finally gets to live with her teacher, and this was like a really good like '90s family movie. I used to watch it all the time, or I'd go to Blockbuster and rent it all the time. And then my last favorite movie growing up was Good Burger. I used to like this sketch on All That, and Keenan and Kel are just funny together. I used to watch the Keenan and Kel show as well, and Good Burger. It's just like Keenan was getting a summertime job, and Kel already had worked there from like the sketch. So Kel gets Keenan a job, but that's not their names in this show. I forget what their names are. I haven't seen it in a while. And then their rivalry is Mondo Burger, and they try to break in there and see what the patties are, and because they're like huge like patties, and it turns out that they're injecting stuff into the patties, and um I just think it's a good show. This is on Nickelodeon back in the day. So see, I don't have a lot of Disney movies on here, but I do have some because Disney was my childhood, and I just really liked Disney movies. But I also watched like Nickelodeon and other stuff like that. Um, but yeah, so Good Burger is my last favorite movie, and I just like their chemistry together. Keenan and Kel, they have a great like chemistry together, and they seem to work really well together. You can see it on screen, and that's why I like that movie as well. It has a good storyline to it. Now it might be cheesy to watch Good Burger, but it's just in my top 10 movies that I used to watch as a child. Well, I hope you guys like this episode, and you can always follow me on Instagram at Popping the Popcorn, or you can come on to our Facebook group, Popping the Popcorn. And I hope y'all have a great night and have a great week. Talk to you later.